Well, hello there, friends. On this lovely Saturday evening. Saturday? Sorry, Sunday. This lovely Sunday evening, Sunday, October 7th, 2018. To be exact. It's got a nice little rain shower, drizzle, fog, whatever you want to call it. Finally got tomorrow off. Feels like, oh God, feels like all I do is work. Not even full time, and all I do is work, it feels like. Working on somebody else's dream, right, man? But what do you even... Yeah, but how do you... If you don't know what you want your dream to be, man, what are you even talking about, man? I don't know. Anyway, you said you'd be gone, and you were gone, and then came back, and gone, and came back. So which is it, man? Well, folks, I guess there are some realizations, and you'll have to excuse me. This video is a little bit rusty. Haven't really been making videos for the last couple of months. I think it's almost been 2 months to be exact, has it? Left, I think August 10th, so about that. And no, you know, if you're wondering, like, oh, you kind of started this NoFap thing again, you deleted the video. No, I didn't delete it and whatever because, oh, I gave in or something, and, oh, I have such shame, whatever. No, it was just, I didn't, like, give up or quit or whatever. It was just sort of the absurdity of, like, oh, man, this NoFap shit again. Like, I believe in the idea of it, but just not like, oh, this goddamn, like, oh, another NoFap day this or NoFap video series. Just something about it. Understandably, believe me, those of you who've left comments saying, like, you know, you're just repeating this shit again. Like, yes, I was very aware of that. That's why I kind of just deleted that and didn't feel like there was a point to doing a video series about that shit again. Yes, I believe it's a good start in self-control, blah, 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 but I don't need to make a whole bunch more videos about that again. Just conveniently at around the same time I did last year, it feels like. So, something like that. So, it just feels like, just fucking who cares. Yeah, what did I realize? Guess it was just something. And it was kind of, you know, me basically just coming back more officially. In part was based too on a conversation that I had with somebody recently that, just somebody I know, that it was good to kind of get together with, talk, rant, put my thoughts out there, and just kind of like, I guess, telling this person how I sort of realized that there's really no staying away and all this stuff. Just really crystallize it in my head. And I gotta give I give a thumbs up, a heart, a like to haha what a story Mark, who left a comment on the previous video saying we're all he's got, something like that. You know, I don't know what the context of the comment was, if you're serious, if that was a joke, if that's like a mocking, you're a loser, whatever, but that is very much true. This is all I have. You are all that I have. What does that mean? I definitely realize now there's really no getting away at this point. It's basically a part of you, you know? It's just something that you have to accept and make use of to the best of whatever good stuff you can get out of it, but realize that it is what it is. The idea that you're going to somehow, you've spent the majority of your life on the internet making connections that way. The idea that now you're just going to suddenly get off the internet and somehow establish something in IRL, in person, and meet space. Like, no, don't, let's not kid ourselves. Like, it's not that it's not possible, but, at this point, you've gone very far in one direction. While you may be able to get over some of your, like, autism and whatever, at this point, the course is sort of set. Let's be honest. You're not going to get away from this. Like, this is what you basically grew up with. This is basically who you are. This is who you're entrenched with and in, I mean, yeah, maybe it started in high school, but like I've basically, I don't know, been a heavy internet user since freshman year of high school. So that's where I made my biggest connections in life was people on the internet, and just gradually lost the ones IRL, or realized that they were sort of, I mean, I know it sounds sort of cringy. Just don't say IRL, it sounds weird. And I don't know how to say, like, oh, in the real world, because it's like, what does that mean, real world, What is real, man? What does it mean, real, man? Yeah, I don't know, folks. It just gradually became disillusioned with things in high school and early on, and that's where you turned to was the internet, and that's how you started talking more to people and all that stuff. So I wouldn't say growing up per se, where it's like, oh, an elementary, like from a super early young age, but early enough where that's what you accustom yourself to, was the internet and online communities and the online humor, and when memes became more prevalent, just all that kind of stuff. That's how your mind works and thinks and reacts to, and the wavelength it's on. I mean, I don't know how else to describe it. Like, this is it, This is it. I will have more of a connection probably with random ass people on YouTube who I don't know their name. All I know is the username they have and the avatar they have for their profile. More of a connection than most of the people around me like this, So it's just kind of a fact that I've accepted at this point. I'm very much in sort of the acceptance stage of the whole FA socially isolated thing. And by accepting phase, I don't mean like boo-hoo, poor me, it's all ogre. It's all ogre. Stuff like that. It's just like you accept it for what it is, try to make the best of it, but like move forward and all that. So yeah, there's no getting away from this. So yeah. I mean, I don't know what else there is to say about that. I was born in it, molded by it. Not quite, but you know what I mean. It's what you heavily, strongly identify with. It's like the wavelength that you communicate on, so to speak, that it's just, like, it's fucking, like, you're not going to, like, you may be able to meet people here and there in person. And yeah, you know, when I come across people, you know, here and there, you do come across people that you can, like, just for some odd reason, yeah, you can really connect with and all that. But realistically, those are very few and far between. That it's just the reality that you're going to suddenly now establish some sort of large social circles in person is not very realistic at this point. Now, that's not to say that it's like, oh, you shouldn't put yourself out there. I mean, yeah, I've definitely learned, if anything, yeah, I can and should put myself out there, but it's not like a thing to very heavily focus on. That, oh, I need to go start into clubbing or something, or try to pretend that I have an interest in something, so maybe I could meet like-minded people to pretend, maybe I can pretend to care about bowling or so. Like, no, it's yes, there's always the possibility to sort of connect with people, but you, like, don't fucking kid yourself. You're going to be wearing a mask and pretending to care about, so just, like, you're not going to, you can only get away with caring for so long, you know? So just sort of accept that part where some things are sort of over. It's not ogre entirely, like, on the face of it, the whole thing, but there are certain parts that are sort of gone and sort of, I don't know, too late at this point, if that makes sense. Like, it's a part of it is just simply getting older, folks. You're no longer, like, you're now just surrounded by people who've got their established little friends and this and that there's not really much crossover as much anymore. It sort of is what it is. So yeah. I guess I've just sort of accepted that, you know, too. And I don't know. I haven't really been thinking too much about the whole, oh, I'm so alone and don't have a girlfriend. You have a girlfriend. It's, like I said, a part of it is sort of the acceptance thing where it's, oh no, I need to get in shape so I can look better, so I can cold approach and something. Like, it doesn't really, what does it really matter now, you know? It's not to say, oh, is that you saying, like, you don't want to, like, try to get in shape now or something? No, I don't mean that. Just this, like, attachment that you have towards it is just like, who fucking cares, man? And there is something admittedly freeing about it, where it's weird autism you have about, and I say that in a loving way, in the meme way, so don't, you know, if you're watching this and you have real autism, or a kid with real autism, I don't mean that in a disparaging way. You know exactly what I mean. So it's just the, I guess, coming to terms with it, and just kind of moving on. Not like, oh, poor me, I'm gonna die alone, oh God, oh no. It's just, I don't know. Laughing about it in a way. There's something freeing about just like, oh, man. I'm surrounded by cute girls. Sometimes a whole bunch. And before, where there was heartache, before there was loneliness, whatever, you know, it was like, oh God, oh, they probably wouldn't even like me, whatever. And now it's just like, don't really care. What else can I focus on and think about, you know? Redirect my energies to, which I think is for the best. So that's about that. You know, I figure, like, if you were going to have, like, a whole bunch of friends in person that you'd be close to and this and that, like, it would have happened long ago. You know, it's not like, I feel like it's just a thing that at a certain point, like, it's not really going to change. I don't think that that's one thing that you can suddenly, oh, I'm going to completely change who I am and what I'm about and what I care about, and suddenly I'm just going to meet all tons of people and they're all just going to, like, become these close friends that I'm going to have, like, this suddenly huge social circle of. Like, I don't think that that's how, you know, I don't think that that's how it works in the real world, folks. Let's see. Turn off the light a little bit. There's a street lamp here anyway, so. It's nice to think, though, right? It's nice to think that I'll transform myself and suddenly I'll be a nice, happy, well-adjusted normie. NPC. No. You can meet people here and there, and you definitely have to value those connections for what they're worth, which sometimes they're not as close as you wish it could be, or how they actually really are. But you got to value them for what they're worth. But realistically, there's probably about a good reason why you had the personality that you did that made you the way you are. You know, you do the best you can to negate the shitty parts of it, but at a certain point, I think you just kind of accept the path is sort of set, you know? The path is sort of set, more or less. Just resetting the light on this. And that's okay. That's okay. Yeah, it's hard. It's harder than if you had a large group of people you knew from earlier on. But no, it is what it is, folks. So you accept it, move on, and what else can you focus your energies on? I've gone down this weird rabbit hole of just watching health stuff on YouTube. I don't know why. It was just, this is a part where I swear I have to, like, become based centrist here, where it's just like I didn't realize that like zero carb blah blah stuff suddenly became so fucking popular. I remember coming across that stuff in like 2011, and even back then, like the people I came across, whatever their website, even then, you know, they had already been for doing that stuff for a while. So I thought I was like onto something of like, oh shit, man, the logical extreme conclusion of low carb diets, just fucking do zero carb. And it's one of those, like, you wonder, did I lose the weight that I did in 2012, the summer of 2012, because, well, was it zero carb? Is because by its very nature, when you're just eating fat and protein without the sugar and sauces and all that, it's very hard to actually eat that much calories. Did I lose weight because of the reduction in calories and I was only eating once a day? Whatever. It's kind of an interesting little thing. But yeah, it was just sort of like, Jesus fucking Christ, like, how did so many people get turned on this? Like, I didn't realize this was like a popular thing now. Thought that was very peculiar. I don't know. Why did I get on that, folks? Well, I have an extreme personality. So, like, that kind of stuff appeals to me. Like, 12, 13 years ago, something like that, when I started actually researching about health and blah, 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 I really got on, like, this vegan kick for, I feel like, a few years, and really tried to become a raw vegan, but couldn't really stick to that. All that stuff, and then, you know, just like, you know, the pendulum swings eventually from one extreme to the other, and you turn to the other extreme. I don't know, folks. It's just something about me where it's like that sort of extreme side of one or the other is just very appealing. So I know it's sort of funny to think, like, goddamn, I was really into the vegan thing a long time ago, and now it's like you're doing the way opposite of it. So it's I don't know, it's just this, all the same fucking videos, either the vegan or whatever. It's, you know, a day in the life of here's what I eat, girl goes carnivore, blah blah. And it's always funny to me to see the people who try to replicate the tastes of the things that are unhealthy. Like, it's always interesting, you know, if you believe meat and all this is awful and bad for you, then why are you trying to, like, oh, here's like a raw vegan burger, like any taste you can imagine I can replicate. Wait a second, I thought you said all this shit was bad, yet you're trying to replicate the taste? You can't do that. You gotta own it. Remember when people used to say that? You gotta own it. You gotta own whatever you believe. Like, it's the same thing with some of the keto whatever stuff. Here's like caveman cookies. Here's this and that. Here's like carnivore pumpkin spice whatever. Like, no, like, fucking pick a, you know, like, you can't, I don't know, just something about that feels very disingenuous to me. Well, I figured out a way to make this low carb, so therefore I can do it with my low carb diet. I can really enjoy my whatever thing I'd normally enjoy on my standard American diet, but I don't know. It's just sort of funny to see that. And I've been really thinking about, is there a way to acknowledge both of the extremes, you know? Combine them somehow. A symbiosis. Kind of want to do a little experiment with cyclical keto, you know? Just curiosity to see if you get the best of both worlds, if there is a best of both worlds. It's just one of those, like, goddamn, man. Anything you want to be true or not true, you can find on the internet. Isn't that amazing? Onions are healthy. Oh, you'll find plenty of stuff. Oh, onions are bad for you. You can find plenty of that. Carrots are this. That's bad. This is good. Coffee's good. Coffee's bad. It's just like the wonderful this the fucking shitty side of the internet, right? Where you get an access of so much information, but it's like there's so much conflicting information that it's just like you don't know what the fuck to believe. Just eat less calories, man, and work out. Yeah, I know, but there's also that extreme side of my personality, folks, so how can I quench it too? That's why, like I said, I want to do an experiment with cyclical keto, of like have days of 0 carb, but then have, you know, not do the shitty ones where people are like, oh, it's my carb up day, so I'm going to eat a whole bunch of garbage. But like, if you have like a day where you're going to carb up, how about, I don't know, eat tubers or something, eat sweet potatoes without oil, and maybe just put some salt and pepper on them. I actually like the taste of simple flavors like that without dousing it in oil and shit. I mean, my vague understanding is you want to keep the fat and the carbohydrates as much as possible away from each other. So if you're going to do like, you know, you want to do, you know, I know it's like you're not a nutritionist or whatever, but I feel like I've come across this enough where I think there's probably something to it where you want to do, if you're going to do, you know, like protein, you can have it with carbs, or protein with fat, but don't do fat and carbohydrates. And I think that's probably one of the reasons is why you can actually eat so much goddamn food sometimes is when you start mixing the sugar with the fat. I've been eating basically one meal a day, well, more or less, not entirely true, for a long time now. Not out of like deliberately trying to do that diet, but it's more of a just kind of naturally started eating that way. So you're probably wondering like, well shit, if all this OMAD stuff works, how come your ass is fat? Well, it's at the end of the day, you can only do so much with a shitty diet, you know, whether it's going to be alcohol, which I gave up, which then turned into shitty eating, or it's like you loaded up with a whole bunch of shitty food and sweets and whatever. Like, not even the one meal a day is going to do it for you. So yeah, I mean, I'm not going to go into too much more specifics with what I want to try, but like I said, a part of this has to do of just like appeasing that extreme personality side of you, you know? Is it possible to kind of, you know, not completely exclude all food groups, but I guess eat in a way where you still get like the extreme of whatever, but not. We'll take a look, folks. We'll take a look. I'm going to give it an honest shot, see how it goes, and any effect. How do I feel? How do I perform? Yeah, perform. You ain't perform at all, Virgil, man. So you're not, it's just, I don't know, sometimes you do think of like, you know, I have experience when I have stuck to it, the positives of low carb and all that, but sometimes you're like, man, you sure are excluding a lot of food. And, you know, I feel like there's something kind of very unsustainable and impractical of like, oh, I'm just going to always eat ribeye steaks. Like, well, you know, you realize how impossible that is in nature. I don't know. Or you just have these convenient access to ribeye steaks, or, you know, on the opposite end of it of, oh, I can just eat these nice convenient little vegan meals and have my little supplements to supplement whatever, or eat these convenient little things that have like, oh, it's got all these, it's the algae from the whatever. Like, no, this is highly unsustainable and impractical. And a part of it too, you know, at the end of the day is, what the fuck can you actually stick to long term? Because that's all that really matters long term. Like, great, you lost a bunch of weight in 3 months, but then clearly that way of eating was not sustainable enough for you to stick with it even longer. So you go back to whatever bullshit, and now you're just regaining weight, right? So I don't know, just something that I was thinking about. And yeah, I gotta stop looking at like nutrition shit on the internet on YouTube, because it is so insane, folks. Literally anything, like everything is true and wrong at the same exact time. It is unbelievable. It is unbelievably difficult to actually, like, what is the fucking truth? What is the real actual truth? I don't know what to believe anymore. Oh, It's like the meme from Metal Gear Solid 2, right? A story where he's like, oh, the internet preserving all this information in its useless state for eternity. All this useless information, you know, just, oh God. So yeah, I guess I'm also sort of reprioritizing. I mean, at the end of the day, I realize if I can control my autism levels and just focus on not eating shit and working out, you know, at the end of the day, getting in shape isn't actually that hard. It's something that's been figured out already. It's just, as always, we have a tendency to make it very complex. And at the end of the day, too, I realize, folks, that while it's definitely something I want to do, and it is good to do and important, you know, getting a six-pack or something isn't going to be some sort of huge transformative thing in my life that's going to, like, change things for me. And what I mean by that is, like, okay, so let's say you get in good shape and you get a six-pack, whatever. Like, at the end of the day, like, you're still living with your parents and you're still burned out working the same job you've had for a long time that you don't care about anymore. Like, okay, well, it didn't really change anything with that. And, oh, okay, sure, maybe some girls might look at you more here and there, but, you know, I don't think it'll have as dramatic of an impact that sometimes we'd like to believe. You know, maybe if I was still of a certain age where I had the social whatever group, whatever, you know, maybe I got in shape over the summer in school and came back and people are like, oh, you're a handsome... That's not to say, like I said, oh, are you giving up? You want to just remain a fat ass now? No. I just mean I don't have, like, the spurgy attachment that I did to it where it's like, I need to get, like, buff, whatever, and that's going to dramatically change. Like, I don't think it's going to at all, folks. I honestly think right now, from a personal development standpoint, about the most dramatic change that I can make for me, is probably a career change, in fact. Now, you know, I'm not going to get into the whole, oh, here we go. You've been talking about this whatever shit for how long now? Yeah, I know. But doesn't mean I can't eventually get around to doing it. Just takes me a long time to get to things, folks, doesn't it? So, but I think that would probably have the most dramatic effect for me right now, because it'd get me out of this fucking rut that I'm in of, like, clearly in a dead-end position now at work, going nowhere, nothing new to do, feeling like you're stuck. You know, from my own sort of hard work of, like, you actually deciding I'm going to work towards something and you work toward it. So that's just my opinion. People say, oh, if you move out right now, that'll just change everything in life. I completely disagree. I think, oh, I can get several jobs and move out, and I think all that would happen is I'd be working my life away to pay for a shitty apartment, all for the privilege of being able to live alone. So I think it's in reverse, folks. But we'll just leave it there. We'll agree to disagree. I feel like it's something that'll take care of itself once I'm able to make a career change. Whenever that happens, you know. It might just take me a while. So. I mean, I think my parents can sense it too, where my dad was like, oh, what do you think about cyber security? I was like, I don't really know. He's like, oh, one online school has got like a degree you can get in like 2 years or something in it. So I think it was just like a subtle suggestion of like, oh, don't you like want to do something other than fucking work here? So, yeah. Like I said before, folks, if there's anything I've learned in my life is that things for me seem to take a long time to be learned and get over and come to me. So, you know, a part of the acceptance with the whole FA thing is like, I feel like probably at some point I will definitely have that whole experience with the girl, not just the sex thing, you know, everything else, the relationship, whatever. So I guess maybe that's sort of the hope that I have, is I kind of like settle on like, oh, this is just who I am, nothing will ever change, and then eventually later in life it changes for me and it's like that wasn't even a thing, you know? So it's okay, but it's not like a thing where I'm like, oh, I'm waiting until I get a girlfriend in my life. Gosh, when is that gonna finally happen? It's just, when it happens, it'll happen, folks. But there's no point anymore in being overly obsessed over it. So, I feel this was based on the conversation I had with this person. I feel okay that kind of nothing worked out with that one girl I hung out with. It's definitely for the best that things didn't go further. It really is one of those things I realize now. It's for the best it ended here before it maybe could have gone somewhere and you would have gotten to know each other better and maybe established a relationship. And if it broke off later on there, where, you know what I mean, it would have hurt even more. So it's definitely for the best. And I can see now, according to what this person told me, I can see now why it is like, well, shit, why'd you even agree to hang out if you didn't like something, you know? Or maybe people rationalize, maybe I'll like whatever. I mean, it says, this girl told me she couldn't get over this whole YouTube whatever stuff, so it sounded like there was probably some thought of like, maybe she wouldn't care and whatever, but it sounded like she just kind of reached a point it wasn't for the best. It was for the best that we didn't pursue things any further. So that's all right. I can respect that. You know, I'm not going to be like, oh, F you, whatever, you broke. It's, Because if somebody's got a problem with it, that's all right. I'm sure we'll find somebody who doesn't. But it's all right. If there's anything I've learned too is probably for the best to keep this, not really tell people about this kind of stuff. I usually don't. You know, once in a blue moon, like, you get in contact with somebody that you're kind of trust more and might bring it up. It's very infrequent, and I didn't tell this girl about my YouTube thing. It was because somebody else I knew mentioned it to them that I was okay with. I said, like, they were like, oh, do you want me to mention your YouTube thing to this person? I was like, oh, sure. You know, looking back now, it's definitely like, nah, keep the internet away. Like, people just won't understand. And it's understandable why people would, you know, look at a few videos and make an impression of you or find something out, and it is what it is, you know. It's just keep it away from meat space, you know. So It's for the best. So that's where it's at. You know, if I could go back and do anything over again, I would say when she sent me a message saying it's best not to pursue things further, I should have just said, I understand. Well, see ya. So, rather than get all, oh, I'm hurt, whatever, blah, blah. Why can't we work it out? Well, that's just move on, you know? Yeah, just move on to something and somebody else. Yeah, I also think that it was a good idea to probably not pursue anything or contact when a friend tried to set me up with the one lady he knows who said she's cute but has her ex was a meth head and she's got like the kid. Like, yeah, I think it's for the best to not try to contact her and anything. I'm very much open to the idea, folks. I think that sometimes you know, you hear about people who do, what is it? Yeah, like they like start dating a single mom, whatever, and it's like turns into like a really great relationship and everything works out. So I'm open to the idea. There are instances where that can work, but I think for me personally, it's not really a thing I could do. So yeah, he was like, oh yeah, she's looking for a good guy to take care of her. I could never get over that, folks, that you're getting together with somebody who's had experiences and now you get to be the quote unquote good guy. Like, oh no, I couldn't do that, folks. Oh, well, you're being picky. Like, is it really too much to ask of somebody else who's sort of like you, that isn't coming with a whole lot of experience or any at all? You know, that's it. You know? So you need to man up and raise Rakeem's baby. You need to man up. A real man, quote unquote, would raise Tyrone's baby. A real man, quote unquote. You're not a real man. So yeah, I think that was for the best. So yeah, I haven't cold approached anyone. Don't really care. Gotten over the whole, oh man, like women don't pay attention to me, whatever. Like, oh, whatever, it doesn't matter. And there's definitely and I think looking back at, you know, I'm glad I stuck to the whole virginity thing and I didn't do the whole, oh, if I just go out and get laid, everything's gonna change. Nothing would have changed, you know what I mean? You should go hire a prostitute, blah, blah. Okay, so you have sex and then what? Like, you're looking for that companionship, the relationship. Like I said, this is why I don't like the term incel, because it puts everything on the fucking sex, not everything else that you can do with another person, you know? Which is most of what it is that I'm looking for, even though, yeah, you joke about big butts and this and that, but fucking it's just a joke. The biggest joke is you, me. Um, it'll be nice someday to experience, right? I said about the only thing that, you kind of miss off of what didn't work out with the one girl I hung out with is just that feeling where it feels like you were kind of having a real life little connection with a person, a girl, where it was just fun to like sit and talk with them and sort of feel like there might be kind of something there. It was a nice feeling, So, oh well. Yeah, no, it's and at the end of the day too is like once you have the GF experience, there's kind of more to life too of like, well, what else are you gonna do? Like, I mean, take a look at your average current year relationship. So yeah, you feel lonely, whatever, but I feel like if there's not a plan to want to like get married and have a family too, like at the end of the day, like what are you gonna do? You're gonna like take a look at the modern day relationship, folks. It's what, like a 1-year lease on an apartment and Netflix. Like, all right, and eventually that's gonna get boring too, I feel like, so, but who knows? I talked about the whole being a dad thing. Yeah, I know, it seems sort of absurd. Some 33-year-old man-child living with his parents is talking about being a kid. I don't even know what type of dad I'd be. Maybe not even a good one. I don't really know, folks. Maybe I'd be an awful one. You tell yourself, try to do the best of like learning from your mistakes, your parents' mistakes that transferred to you, but yeah, who really knows? Maybe I shouldn't have kids. Maybe I am that much of a weirdo. Who knows? Who knows, man? You do sort of wonder, like, if anything would have changed with, if you'll remember Turkish QT from earlier in the year. If she had agreed to go out, you went out and you had this hot girlfriend and you did the you-know-what. But it's like, once the... I've said before where it would be kind of nice to have somebody in your life. Maybe it would motivate you. But now I'm not so certain. It's not so certain. It's like, I need a woman in my life who's going to, like, motivate me to change. Would it? It's nice to think so, but something tells me, like, if you don't find it within yourself, no amount of motivation from a woman is going to matter. I think, if that had turned out, like, oh, you have this hot girlfriend with a big booty and whatever and blah, blah. Once that, like, experience wore off, I have a feeling it probably would have just been like, oh, so that's that, huh? So it's about, feel like, finding something within yourself that everything else would be a nice cherry on top, Something to work on, something to do with your time, grow. Not yet. The only thing you growing, the only personal growth you got is that big belly. Yeah, that's the only personal growth you've mastered. Touche. Touche, yes. Yeah, I mean, I think just this obsession of, man, if I just get a girlfriend, everything's going to be fixed. Like, I don't think so, man. If you don't find some sort of point or purpose in life, nothing else will ultimately be able to sustain you for too long, So, I guess that's about where I'm at, you know? At the very least, I can now say that, and I've said this for a while, but now it's definitely very crystal clear. Like, I kind of, you know, at this point, like, it's pretty obvious on what to do. Whereas before, it felt like everything was very confusing and I don't know what to do and blah, blah. I feel like now it's pretty crystal clear, you know? It's very much to, like you want to do something great with your life, but hey, man, like, you're not going to do something great with your life still living with your parents, living in their basement. It's not a basement, but it's fun to joke around and say a basement, just to be, you know, play up that whole neckbeard loser thing. And, you know, just working at some dead-end job you hate. But I don't know. What else, folks? What else? The weather has, I think I'm gonna get away from some of the bro splits I was on, you know, bro splits, and more of like a full body workout of sorts. I was looking at, I don't know, like 1 day on, 2 days off. But we'll see. Guess I can try the whole Monday, Wednesday, Friday meme and see if how I recover with that. We'll take a look. Versus the, I'm going to do chest day. Get some chesticles and triceps and whatever. Yeah, it's definitely gotten pretty cold now. It's the first time I've actually had to wear a coat in months. It's like hated the summer. It'll be nice to have some cool weather, but looking forward to some nice long walks in the park once it starts snowing, whatever, too. Well, whenever that happens. Wow, that's really interesting. Tell us about the weather some more. Well, goddamn, it's been nearly an hour. So, I should probably cut that there. I can't think of anything else to bring this to a nice clean hour of rambling. So, good, 'cause we didn't need that much. Man, it's too much anyway. Oh, folks, why can't I control my autism levels sometimes with the weird obsessions I get? Why can't I put it towards something actually good and stick with that? God damn. I feel like I can harness my autism on something good, you know, and actually be productive. Alright, folks, we're going to leave it there. I'm actually off tomorrow, which is very nice. I'm going to do some grilling, probably. Well, mostly because my dad said he wants me to grill some steaks for him and Mom, so we're going to leave it there. With that, yeah, none of this, I mean, I obviously can want to continue no fap, but I don't want to do the whole like fucking basing everything around it and all that. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave that there for now. So I guess with that, I would say I keep deleting shit I know, but hey, I only deleted like 2 videos, right? So of like made 2 videos in 2 months, I deleted them, so hey, that's not too bad, right? So with that, I guess I'll say officially back or something. I don't completely know what I'll talk about. I just have to accept the folks, accept the reality that this is my outlet, you know? This is my way of journaling, putting my thoughts out there so I can... It's like you put your thoughts out there so you can think better than with them, if that makes sense. Like, you've got an idea but you don't know how to formulate it, so you turn on a camera, start rambling for a whole bunch, and then it's like, oh, okay, yeah, now the thought takes a better form, I guess. So it is what it is, you know. I can't, like I said, I don't know if I would have really been better off without any of this. To not have a thing to just kind of vent, blah, blah, and talk to people with either, you know. I think it would have been a much lonelier, sadder existence than it even is now, where it's just like, well, I guess I'll come home and play video games and not even talk to anyone, and all this shit is just bottled up here, you know? So, that's just the thing that I've accepted at this point, you know? Alright. Accepted, right? We're in the acceptance stage. But like I said, acceptance, not fucking being depressing and moping and like, oh, it's ogre. It's just, you accept some things and move on towards hopefully eventually something good in your own way. Whatever ultimately it may be. Alright, friends, I gotta get home and eat because I'm starving. Not really, but I'll see you around. Bye-bye.